Chiefs went out and did it, got their first preseason win under their belts. And now you take a step back at what this season looks like. National talking heads all of a sudden figured out, hey, Patrick might have a different kind of plan this year. All of a sudden, bigger, stronger, faster, better offense. How are they going to get there? What's it going to mean? And how does the defense keep up? We're going to get into all that and all of your questions tonight. This show is for you, Chiefs Kingdom. We have you set. Here we go. It's RGR Football. Welcome back, everyone. We are on the road. There's been a football game. What an idea.
Ridiculous. Crazy.
It's amazing to see that this has already happened and we're back into the swing again, but we are glad to be here. This is good, and I'm glad to see you guys. Hope you've enjoyed the first one. We're going to talk all about it tonight and answer your questions. He's Dan Harms, the man with the film plan. I am Ryan. This is RGR Football. If you don't know us yet, make sure you hit that sub button so you can figure out more. We got a ton of stuff coming for you. This channel is where we break things down, whether it's film reviews. Dan and Seth are going to get into a bunch of that. We have analytics with Gary and myself. We're going to do all of the hows and whens and whys, evaluation process, the whole 9 yards. If you're looking to enjoy and rah-rah your guys, there's lots of places to do that on YouTube. If you want to learn about the game and you want to get into what is going on, that's what we're here for. So don't mind if it gets a little bit nerdy. We're going to answer all of your questions. And if you are one of those folks that wants to support us tonight, the super chats are live and open. That's the easiest way to make sure you get your questions answered. If you don't want to, that's all right. It's not a demand for monetary support. But if you're going to ask a question, put your question marks before the sentence. That always helps me find them. And that is always one of my goals, is to get better at finding everybody's questions. So Liz Morrow's in the house. Gary's here. Cole's here. A bunch of the regulars are here. Let's get at it. I'm really referring to the bigger batter, the fact that Pacheco looks the part and he runs hard. Justin Watson looks the part as far as the 5th, 6th receiver, super tall, bigger size. Like in general, did I overshoot, or how bigger and badder is this offense going to be versus last season's?
I don't necessarily they're going to be like hugely bigger. I think they had some, Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle were bigger guys. Like they're going to have that size, but I think that MVS, Juju, and Justin Watson to an extent are going to they're going to be utilized a little bit differently than maybe Byron Pringle and Demarcus Robinson were. Demarcus really was that we're going to make you just kind of like this possession guy, but every once in a while we'll throw a triple or double move at these corners and you're going to burn them because for some reason you're good at that. And then, Byron was more of the intermediate to a yak kind of threat, like a possession, but with some yak ability to him as well. So I think that if you guys saw my post on Twitter, I have a theory that the Chiefs were foreshadowing what they're going to do against these two high safeties. They're just going to run MVS, Juju, Justin Watson right at him, right behind those linebackers. And they're just going to, when they get inside the 30, they're just going to be chucking bombs to them for touchdowns. Like you're going to see that happen multiple times. And that's going to force these safeties to have to start to cheat inside a little bit. That's when you can get MVS and you can get McCole on the outside. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I am too. And we're not even going to talk about Mike Burton until somebody else brings it up, because you'll get me going far too far. So let's jump into your questions, folks. Again, this is the Q&A show. You can find our live streams at 6 p.m. Central, whether it's post-game on most weekends, whether it's Monday night, whether it's Thursday night. You're going to find all of that. And Clinton wants to know, if you're Veach, Reed, and Heck, today is the last day before cutdowns, keep Kennard or Caliendo?
I'm keeping Kennard. Kennard was not great, but he was way better than Caliendo.
And quite frankly, you have Allegretti in there, and if you really needed to, Kennard can go into guard if you really feel you need a backup guard.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. I think we agree on that one. Clinton, thank you very much. Appreciate you. And your super chat. Thanks for the support, buddy. Always nice to see you. If you guys want some of the gear too, that's another way to support. Grab it in the store. You'll hear more about what's coming there here pretty soon. You can always check out the Chief in the North stuff. We launched that last week. And if you guys missed it today, the new thing for this season, Seth's going to give you like a shorter vid on Mondays for his thoughts, since he's not going to be live post-game with us doing our stream. You'll get a piece of that as well. So you get 2 doses, 2 doses
Nice.
every week. I don't know if everybody can handle that. So I just want everybody to be warned. Hello, what do you think will be the main focus going into the second preseason game? Taking it up a notch, complexity. That's what I'm looking for. What about you?
I don't even think there's going to be much complexity. I think it's going to be what we saw. They're just going to be matriculating the ball down the field. Like, that's what they want to do for the offense. Get on time, get on the same page, get everything working like it's supposed to. Like, that first drive was perfect. You know, we had Mahomes get hit once on a blitz, and not a great rep by your right tackle, Andrew Wiley. But but that's what they want. They want to get the kinks out. They want to have everything operate smoothly. Get some push up front in the run game. Let Clyde, let Pacheco, let McKinnon do some work. Get them out of the game like halfway through the second if you're clicking on all cylinders. And then evaluation period opens up once again. That's really going to be the focus.
Yeah, you got to find out what you have with the guys who didn't get the time last time. I was really intrigued that they gave Pacheco so much run early and then kind of shut it down. Yeah. I thought they'd like to see him with different groups and see what he was able to do against, quite frankly, lower competition against the 2s and 3s. Evidently, they saw enough.
They seem pretty confident in the player that he is.
Yeah, and I'm a bit relieved. Like, you guys always know that I put a lot of focus on the first preseason game, and that is because you can look good in practice and maybe not live up to it. Pacheco certainly did. And so, hey, if you got a 1-2 punch in there that you can believe in, I'm stoked because you can always put Mike Burton in the game. So we'll talk about that. Boodle has looked slow and stiff. There's a chance that Nazeeh Johnson beats him out. Who looks more like a more fluid mover to you? I got to admit, I don't see a big difference. Do you, Dan?
Not really. I think that Boodle has had ups and downs. People kind of focus on his getting beat, but there was multiple times in that game specifically that he was in good position. But you'll notice a lot of these corners that are being trained on this defense don't get their head around. Yeah. It's pretty much a focus to be in good position and make a quarterback make a perfect throw. And more often than not, we've seen them drop in the bucket on a lot of these plays. We even saw it to L'Jarius Sneed happen with a good throw to the back shoulder to Darnell Mooney. You get beat by those throws if you're not able to get in good position, get your head around. So I think that Boodle's probably got the edge on Nazeeh Johnson right now. But the simple fact of the matter is these young corners are impressing the Chiefs staff. You have 2 guys that are veterans in Lonnie Johnson and Baker that were let go already to this point. So the sky's looking really good for the young corners in this team right now.
Yeah, I'm really encouraged, and maybe none more so than for Jalen Watson, because I thought he was going to be the guy that maybe stood out. But
he looks really good.
And I know there's a lot of Johnson question. We're going to get to that. Part of the reason is Jalen Watson. Yeah. I'm going to tell you that right now. Julian, welcome back. Glad you're here. We will get into the convo. Dan's going to answer this one because, of course, we've started the stream now, and my camera battery started blinking at me. So, it's about per schedule. I'll be back.
What's up, Voodoo? Do you think they move Kennard to guard during the regular season if he doesn't turn around soon? I don't want them to cut the talent that he is. Yeah, I don't think they're going to cut him, but I think that we kind of have an elevated view of some of the players that the Chiefs drafted. I know Kennard was a guy who was falling down the draft board, and that may be something that the teams at the time thought about. I think that he's been playing consistently with the third team. That's not great for your stock, but I do think the fact that he has swing tackle upside allows him to be a more versatile chess piece for the offensive line and be a guy that you can definitely, I would imagine putting him at guard would help some of his pass protection issues. And you definitely know that he's a mauler in the run game. So I could see them definitely doing that if they're planning on keeping him on the roster, and he's not going to be like your starting or a backup tackle, because that just doesn't end up working out for him so well.
Good timing.
Great timing.
Alex has another one. Do you think the offense is going to drive down the field a bit slower, and will it be better for the team anyways? A great question about time management.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of fun because we've seen sometimes scoring too quickly come back and bite teams. We've seen it even to this team. We've seen it happen a lot, and I think that if you can show the full circle of being able to score quickly and methodically, I think that's you're not always trying to take every single drive and grind out 4, 5, 6 yards at a time. That's not what you're trying to do. You still want to show the explosive plays to be able to make defenses fear you. But I do think that as an overall point, that first drive that Patrick Mahomes and the offense took was a sign to say, hey, guess what? It doesn't really matter. We're going to be doing our thing, and we're going to find ways to beat you. Juju Smith-Schuster didn't even get a target on that drive. Not one target. They didn't even use him. They didn't need to. So, I mean, that tells you something.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, everyone was like, oh, Juju's it. I'm like, they can move the ball without Juju. There could be multiple guys that are it for a while.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Gary, what do you think the Chiefs should do? You think the Chiefs should cut Josh Gordon, let the younger talent play? I mean, everybody's younger than Josh Gordon in that receiver corps. He's literally the oldest guy there. So, like, I think Watson has earned a good look. I don't know. I was actually surprised that they let Bayless go, because I know he's made some plays in camp. He's kind of what I was talking about earlier, that if you make plays in practice, doesn't necessarily mean that it translates. So, yeah, I would like to see that. I think Powell deserves more of a chance. Didn't have the greatest game the other day. And I think he does still have talent. Dan thinks he can still make this roster, but he's got to have those chances. If you decide that Gordon doesn't have to be here, or he's not going to push to make it, why not do that and let Powell have more chances and let Coleman have more chances? So those are the next two guys, in my opinion, that are behind Fountain and Watson right now.
This is an interesting, like, Powell is an interesting conversation right now, because while I don't think he's the 6 right now, I think Fountain is. He got 10 special team snaps, and Fountain got none in that game. It's a little confounding for me, because when Dave Toub talks up Doris Fountain as this guy's going to be a core special teams player for us, and then he doesn't get any snaps in the first game. You see a guy who didn't get any last year, and Powell get the 3rd most on the team. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do there. Although I still think right now I would lead. It's almost certainly Fountain as the 6. Powell's going to need to have like a really good game, getting some time with the ones, possibly the seconds for sure. But it's going to be an uphill battle for him.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, but it's a possibility. I can't rule it out. Jay, when will Gary McKenzie be on a live show? That's a great question. The only reason he hasn't been so far is scheduling. We all have our other commitments that we have to do, family, work, et cetera, et cetera. We will try to figure that out, and I'm sure he's pretty keen to do it as well. Yeah. You guys will dig it. Gary is off this week, so we will have content for you, but he will be back very quickly. So be prepared. For those of you that are nerding out, I think he's digging it, you're digging it, I'm digging it. I think it's going to be good this whole season, so be ready. Kevin, as they look today, what defensive look will be the D's weakness? I mean, honestly, the base is the weakest point right now. In my opinion, nickel's still their best component share, and dime's looking good. It's not quite up to what the nickel is, but when you have 2 linebackers on the field, I thought Willie looked the best of the linebackers the other day. Now, it's just preseason game number 1, but like Willie looks noticeably better than he looked in the preseason last year. That's a step forward for me, and I feel pretty good about that. You're smiling like you're not quite with me there.
No, I am. I think Willie looked great. Like, I think he's one of those players that is primed to have a true breakout year. I think he's going to be incredibly impactful, and they have 2 guys that are starting that complement each other. Willie, who's really can make plays all over the field. I think Bolton's getting better in that department. He looks more comfortable moving to his side to side, but really getting downhill is still going to be his strength and diagnosing in the run game. And then you're trying to figure out who's going to be this Sam. It has not been Leo Chanel. It hasn't. It's been 2 guys. I think Jermaine Carter and Elijah Lee have been your 2 Sams. And I mean, I think Lee's okay. I think Carter's not very good if anything has to do with not the run. He looked very slow, and he reminded me on the outside of the number of Anthony Hitchens. Like, that's what he looked like. He just looked kind of a little bit slower. So I do think the base is going to be its weakest, because you can pass on them a little bit more. But nickel, if they can find a way to play a lot of nickel and stop the run, this defense could be pretty good pretty quickly.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way as well. The addition of Shelton, especially if it is a first down and you want to stay in nickel, that changes how many offensive linemen the opposing team has to dedicate to trying to move Danny Shelton out of the way. So I think that does bode well for keeping the linebackers cleaner and keeping that run game more intact, and still allowing them to play the personnel that they want to and stay in the nickel. I think that's great, and I'm sure Spagnuolo's like doing backflips. The weaknesses are going to come out, and when the teams are able to get guys isolated, that's really what it's going to be, Kevin. They will be able to find fault. Everybody has a weakness. It's how many times you let it get exploited. Christo, what would a Fenton contract look like? If he's able to play well enough that they want him back, I think they'd probably go shorter term, is my guess, 3 years-ish, 12, 14, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That's I think it's a little bit much myself. Like, I think that's something that Charvarius Ward I thought he was looking at, but then I think he got overpaid by the 49ers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 2 to 3 years, 6, 7 per is probably what you're looking at.
Okay. Whew, you guys are doing great. We got a whole stack of questions. Thank you for everything that you do and all the time that you spend giving us this information. You guys are true legends. Thank you, Cade.
Thank you.
We appreciate you very much. We work hard at it, and we appreciate it that you're here, because if we just talk to each other, it gets kind of boring after a while, you know? Steve, will the Chiefs look at RBs and offensive linemen during the other team's roster cuts? I think they have to look at offensive linemen for depth, particularly swing tackle. I am officially concerned about the tackle situation.
Really?
RBs? I don't think so. I think they got 4 that they can be comfortable with.
I think 3 comfortable, 4 is kind of pushing it. I don't know if anybody else watched Rojo or Derek Gore in the preseason. They did not. And I will say the offensive line didn't give much help.
No.
They didn't give much help. But both of them looked real slow and indecisive.
Yeah, it was not pretty. And honestly, I'd be more positive if Gore hadn't fumbled. In the end of the day, you got to hold on to the rock.
2 drops and a fumble. Gore just had himself a bad day.
Yeah. Sometimes the competition gets to you. Let's see what he does. Let's see how they rebound. John, are you seeing grabby DB play concerned for the defense getting penalties under some regular season? Yeah, it's going to happen. Guys in college can grab way more and get away with it. It's going to be a transition. The lucky thing, and the reason that I don't think you're seeing it from McDuffie, is McDuffie was never in a position in college to be in man. So he's not used to that. I think it's going to be fine with him. I think Josh has a tendency to get a little handsy, but I think he's going to grow out of it. I was actually really happy with his play, and I thought Jalen was nearly as good.
Honestly, I think Jalen played a little bit better. I think he showed better in zone, and that was something I really liked, that he looked good in man coverage and zone. He looked more versatile a little bit than I think Joshua Williams did, which is surprising. I think Williams may be a higher ceiling for this defense, but Watson's very, very versatile. I like that. So I think that if you guys have been listening to me at all over the last couple of years, I don't care so much about the grabbiness. You know, one of the best things about this defense is that they do let the corners play a little bit more. I don't care so much about a 5-yard penalty here and there. At the end of the day, it's all about keeping the team out of the end zone. If you can find a way to hold a little bit and get away with it, I'm all okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, Robin's racing. At the end of the day, that's what the league is. And the only problem for me is when it turns to the playoffs, you hope that it stays loose. The last couple of seasons, it's actually gotten tighter with the calls in the playoffs, and that's just wrong.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
While you can blame the refs for that, you also have to blame yourself, because you got to understand that it's coming. You got to be able to adjust. And I don't think they were as successful last year as they were previously with that. If you were GM, would you carry 3 quarterbacks with Henny and Bouchel being 2 and 3, or just 2? Just 2.
Have to keep 2 right now. I know they like Bouchel. I know that they had to protect him last year and then bring him up because of fear of being taken. But right now, I think you need other roster spots. You can't afford a 3rd quarterback in this situation.
Yeah, I'm with you. Micah, great pod. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And folks, I have over 60 stack questions here. I'm going to get to you all, I promise. There's a couple of repeats in there. Be patient with us, please. We fall behind as we try to explain some things. We will get there. Do you still like Kennard at right tackle, or a move to guard? I thought he played pretty poorly. I was disappointed to see him not get in until the 3s. But a lot of it was a lack of footwork on my part. I saw him lean and do the things he did wrong in college because he wasn't moving his feet. If he could fix that one thing, I think that opens things up. So right now, I would still let him try to practice at tackle. If not, I said it the day he was drafted, I like the move to guard for him. It's just that you have Tootie and Trey there. So he'd only be depth right now. But if he can come along, you could eventually see that being where, when Joe's old enough that they're not going to bring him back, that could be kind of a move there.
Yeah, that was the move that I had all along. I didn't think he was tackle in the NFL. I thought he was guard. And sometimes it works for players to make that move with the footwork. It does work sometimes. Other times it doesn't. And I think right now we're seeing him struggle a little bit with that transition.
Yeah. Jaden said, I love Patrick Mahomes was getting into it with Fenton on the defense. I didn't realize it was Fenton, but I wish I could play you the clip. Unfortunately, YouTube will then, take away our family-friendly rating if I did that.
Yeah.
But I like to see Patrick mix it up, especially because Fenton did hold a lot last season, and it cost him. And he's got to get away from that. At least not be so blatant with it, like we were just talking about. It's part of the game. If you can't do it in a way that you protect yourself from getting flags, that's a problem.
Fenton's the most obvious hold I've ever seen. That dude does not care. He will take your jersey and he'll just grab it. And then he's like, no, I didn't do anything. Go watch the play. We saw Travis Kelce's jersey just being yanked, man. Come on.
What'd y'all think of German's performance? He looked like a more competent line than out there with the 2s and 3s. I didn't see anything stand out to me at all, to tell you the truth. And that's generally a bad thing. If you're ins with the 2s and 3s and you don't make a play that makes me go, oh, hey, he can dominate from time to time at that level, then that's really not saying a whole lot.
There was only one guy that really stood out to me on the 2nd and 3rd team. You guys will hear that on Wednesday. It was surprising for me, and I enjoyed it. So I hope you guys listen to that on Wednesday and figure out who I'm talking about.
That'll be Wednesday afternoon. Dan's film will drop. You guys enjoy that. I will get something out for you tomorrow as well. Looking at one Leo Chanel, I do want to highlight the things that he did well. I feel like a lot of the kingdoms turned on him a little bit. And so I do want to point out what I really liked about his game. I've been getting a lot of comments about how he's not going to improve and he doesn't have it in. I'm like, dude, he's got elite athleticism. He's not quite Willie Gay, but he's got great measurables. And if he can learn, he's going to be fine.
I didn't see anything like discouraging from the game. I'm not sure what they were watching.
Right.
I had to go back and reconfirm because I was watching the wrong player and thinking it was him. Like I was, because the 4 confused me. I was watching Cochran. I'm like, that doesn't look very good. And I see a 4 on the side profile. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not him. And then I go back and through and I'm like, no, I think he was fine. I think he was good actually.
Yeah, like I was, in fact, one play that I really want to highlight. You guys will see it was almost identical to Nick Bolton last year, and I will explain to you why. Don't miss that tomorrow. I'm going to be up late and doing that one tonight, but I think you guys will dig it. What's next? Great breakdown after the game Sunday. Thank you, Teak. Appreciate that. Seems like our O-line backups are horrible. They had a bad game. Let's be honest, but it's not necessarily where you start; it's where you end. And if they can make adjustments and get their feet under them, I think they still have upside. Were you surprised that Lonnie Johnson got cut? Yes. I was even more surprised that he played like total dog. Yes.
It was awful, man. Yeah. It was so bad.
I cannot blame Brett Veach. Brett Veach went into this thinking, okay, I'm going to give up a conditional pick. I'm going to get a guy that has experience, that understands how to be physical. He's been dominating the 2s and 3s in practice, yet he goes out against an inferior team with inferior receivers and can't do squat. I think my guess is this is not a physical issue. Yeah. My guess this is attitude, this is dedication, this is a number of those kinds of things. I'm quite disappointed, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, me too.
Came to the practice squad with Herring as DE5 and Saunders as DT5. I'm pretty sure Saunders is at least 4 right now. I'm just going to tell you that.
Colin Saunders, since he's bringing it up, he is a guy that I talk about on Wednesday. That he was good. Yeah. He looked really good. Like, I know that everyone talks about the one play, but it wasn't just that. He was taking on doubles. He was anchoring. He was doing something. We saw the clip today of him taking it to town with his pass rush. Like he's doing a lot of things you want to see from a guy who actually really needs this season. He absolutely needs this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was happier with Herring than I was with Kano.
By a mile.
Yeah.
By a mile.
Yeah. So let's hope that he can still build on it. He's still not as explosive out of his stance as he was at Georgia. That injury has had some lingering effects. That's normal. But if he can be even 80% of that, I thought his handwork was good. I thought his extension was good. His functional strength was good. He has all the tools he needs. I didn't see enough from Josh to think that he can make this roster right now.
I saw a lot of him getting pushed and bullied, so I think he's not going to.
Like tight ends. That's my number one thing. If you're going to play edge in this league, you let a tight end push you around. I cannot have you. That's just all it is. Alan, good day down under. I hope you're doing well. I'm sure you'll have questions. We'll get to them. Sam, look at the size of Sheldon. How much versatility and creativity does he give you by just being there on the D-line? Love you, what you guys do. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it.
I agree with you. And he's overly athletic. A lot of the Polynesian players end up looking like they're not the athletes they are. Danny's one of those guys. A lot of the UW guys are. Quarles was the same way. Very much Colin Saunders-esque in terms of their versatility. Problem with Dan is he's had a long string of injuries. So it is about his health, limiting his reps so that you don't overuse him is my thought.
Yeah, he's going to I don't know if he's going to – I still don't know if he's going to make the roster yet because he just got here. We still have to wait and see how he plays. It's not just an assumption he's going to make the roster. I know he was signed late and that leaves something, but it's not a guarantee yet. But what if he does, the one thing he's going to help you do is get creative on every other defensive front spot because he can double, take on triple teams. He can do a lot of things that help free up your linebackers and your other players.
I'm with you. Luis, I think we're going to be fine as well. I think we're going to have an enjoyable season of watching this team. My only question is how many do they keep? By Lonnie being let go now, that's pretty key that Boodle and a number of guys are ahead of him that we didn't have when preseason started. We had Baker and Lonnie up there in the fight, evidently not even close. That's a really positive sign. Who's better, 2019 Pennell or 2022 Shelton?
I can't even. I'm sorry, guys. I can't answer the question until he's like on the roster. Yeah, I have no idea if he's going to make it. I want to answer. I do, but I can't in good conscience say that he would even be better than Pennell because he still has to make it.
Yeah, let's see what he's got. Avery, hope you're doing well. What would you think to see Sky's touches targets increase, and who's come down as a result? What week? That's a great one. Do you have an idea?
Scott Moore is going to be involved off the get-go. I don't know. It's hard to see because, unfortunately, we're not special enough to have all 22 access for the preseason. But I have seen some of the clips of him running routes, and everything is just like it was at Western Michigan. The releases, the crispness. He's going to be involved early. So it's going to start being a rotation, at least in week 1. I think you're going to see him get on the field a good amount from the get-go.
I'm with you. And folks, just to be clear, we are independent analyst team here at RGR Media. We do not have the big digs with NBC Sports and those kinds of things. And we're not going to pass off other people's work as our own either. So keep that in mind. We are going to tell you like it is and what we see and how we come. I actually think that it will be a nice steady feed for Sky until about week 7 or 8. And that's when I think it might pop because I think enough attention will have been dispersed that they can get creative at that point. Thank you, Avery. How great was Burton? I'm going to let Dan answer this because I won't stop talking if I start.
Coming out of the gate with a fullback leak off of a bootleg, like
Right.
Andy Reid was like, we all know you think it's going to Juju Smith-Schuster. Guess what? It's going to Michael Burton. He's going to go make somebody miss and get a first down on the first play of the game out of 21 personnel. It's beautiful. It's poetry. It's everything Andy Reid needs to do to tell everybody, guess what? We have playmakers.
Right.
I can do whatever I want. I can line up in 13. I can line up in 12. I can line up in 21. I can line up in 22. It doesn't matter because you can't stop what's coming. It was beautiful. I loved it.
I'm so excited about it. I'm just going to give you guys this because I love it so much. It's great. I mean, he's like flying through the air with the greatest of ease, right? Like that's what I'm looking for. You guys have heard Mike on this channel, and for a reason, like he's a good dude, and I'm pulling for him. I will get that Burton burner shirt created. Had the Chief of the North to get done last week. I'm going to work on it. But here's the thing. I just want to calm everybody because I'm super excited. You all know how I feel. Andy does this to me every now and then and teases that he's going to run the eye and he's going to use the power and put a fullback in. And then the regular season comes along and it's, 3 touches in the first 6 weeks. So let's enjoy it while we got it. If they come back out next week, I'll do flips. It'll be crazy. It's going to be awesome. Let's see. Cole, prayers for Lenny Dawson, who entered hospice on Friday night. Yeah. That is a tough one. Anybody who's been through that process. Oh, I didn't meant to click that off. Sorry, folks. Anybody who's been through that process, I feel for you. I've been there and I've watched that process go on. It is not easy. So, cheers for Lenny and for his time, not only on this planet, but in Chiefs Kingdom.
Where's that?
Prediction. Derek Carr was sacked twice as much as anyone else in the AFC West. I'm not going to argue with you there, T.
Yeah, that's not a bold prediction right there. That offensive line is hot garbage right now.
I tell you what. tell you what, it's going to be fun to watch. In fact, I think this guy's going to get a couple of them. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
I'll tell you guys something right now, because with new information, it is imperative to change how you view things. And George Karlaftis has clearly taken everything that Cullen, Frank Clark, and Bobby Strope have been teaching him. The work ethic is great.
Yeah.
Although I'll push back on people pointing out his bend. He still doesn't bend. Like,
not in contact.
Like, I saw someone posting a clip of him just cornering after he beat the tackle straight up. And he's like, here he is bending. No, that's him just elevating his ankle flexion and learning ankle flexion and cornering. That was something he didn't do his last year at Purdue. He didn't do it. This was a level up. And that's all you can hope for. So he's taking everything he's been learning and teaching and applying it in real game situations, and he looked really good doing it.
Yeah, I'll give him credit. He looks lean, and I think that's part of why he is able to corner when he's not in contact. For me, it's can he do that? Can he bend his torso and have control and have power through the tackle?
Yeah.
You have to be in contact in order to make bend work for you. That's going to be the thing. Otherwise, you just run a straight line, with a good lean, and you're making progress. So, Chiefs fan of Colorado, love to see more of that, by the way. Do you think, or who do you think has a better chance to be RB3, Pacheco or Rojo? It's very clear now that it is Pacheco, and I wouldn't even say 3 right now.
I don't think it is. I think it's very clear who the RB2 in this offense is. McKinnon is going to be a break glass in case, again, CH gets hurt, because he knows the offense, and he's going to be a third down weapon. But Isaiah Pacheco is going to be your RB2. He's going to be a change of pace back. He's going to get some work as a pass catching back too. Everything that we've seen, he's pointed to him taking not only one grown man spot, but 2 grown men's positions on this offense. It's pretty impressive.
And more power to him. The big thing that I'm impressed with, he pass blocks like he pass blocked in college. He was proficient in college. That's a good thing. That we knew that was the way to get on the field for a rookie running back. He is much better catching the ball than I saw on film. It is he and Karlaftis are probably the poster children for taking what was their weakness and working on it through this process. It has been incremental, but it is showing up on there.
So good.
I don't mean to cut you off. Did you have something else?
I was just going to say that he attacks the ball. I didn't see that on his tape.
Exactly.
It looks so much better.
And honestly, that's the only way that you can get the quarterback to trust you. You're a rookie. There's like a built-in, hey, I don't know if he can do this, so go show him. I was yelling at the camera last week about show me state. Well, that's what they've both done, is show the people that they need to show that they can do these things that they hadn't shown on tape before.
Yeah.
Sean, did Gordon's performance help Powell, who didn't help himself with a bad drop? That's kind of my thought. We talked about that a little bit earlier. I hope that it did. Javonte Rose, how good did the defense look to you? Are we just talking about ones? I thought they looked proficient.
Twos. I think 1s and 2s looked good. Same with the offense. I think both of their 1s and 2s looked good.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bill, is the defensive line better than we thought? And thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, dude. Or is Joe Cullen just the man? Clark Saunders, Dana, Karlaftis, all improved, exceeded expectations. I think this is something we've talked about, but Dan, go first so I don't monopolize here.
No, I think that Cullen's added a lot. I think that a new look, some changes in the way that they're teaching things. It looks to me that handwork has been a huge point to improve upon everybody. And Cullen has seen it and said, look, you guys have to get better with your hands. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to ever do anything. If you're just constantly letting hands get in your chest, guess what? You're going to be stuck. If you can get hands off and you can work your hands, it's the key to being a good pass rusher. It is. That's just what it is. And he's done a great job.
That's the only way that you get wins. For me, this is what we've been crying for a million years, in that we heard, I think it was Saunders say it, we've seen Turk talk about it. Now we've seen everybody else come through and show it. It's the aggression. No. It's using defensive tackles in particular as weapons, not waiting and laying back, not waiting to see what play develops. Go attack a gap, make your man move. If you can turn an offensive lineman's shoulders, you've won. I don't care if he's still in contact with you. You've made a gap for a linebacker to come take the quarterback out or whatever you need to do. Yep. That's the difference. And this is why you guys always hear me preach about Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's a crazy man. He should not be a head coach anymore. But you line him up as a defensive coordinator, he was going to attack every single gap. He's going to take the game to you. And that's what I think we're seeing here. I just hope that it is sustained and it's not an experiment for the preseason. Then they back off to old ways.
I can't think it's going to be.
I hope you guys will see me cry real tears on here if that happens. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you. Same thing with you, Spards. Appreciate the help, man. I think you guys were correct in the pre-draft assessment of Kennard. Seems like he has a real problem at OT at this level. He did first week. Now, I will say this too. He was running with the twos up until that game. So maybe something just changed. Maybe he's had better days. I don't know. I'm not going to say that he doesn't still have a chance to make tackle work, but we both feel like guard's a better spot.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'm comfortable with that. You have him and Allegretti as your backups. I am happy as a clam. So, hey. Micah, Broncos are starting Josie Jewell and Jonas Griffin at ILB. Griffin got hurt and is out 6 weeks. And is this a huge weakness? Overall, their D is overrated. Their pass D is not overrated, in my opinion. They can get after you. They added Nick Benito to that pass rush group. I think that's going to help them. Their coverage is good. You're right. The linebackers have been a weakness for a couple of years. The Chiefs have so far been unwilling to take advantage of it by running what they ran to begin the game yesterday.
Yeah.
You run power at those guys, you're getting chunks all day long.
Be fun.
It'd be
don't
so
get me started.
Fun. Having the least penalized defenses, is it coaching? Is it a group of players or a mix? It's both, Jeremy.
Yeah, you have to be able to coach out a little bit of tendencies. You also have the players to kind of take that with them, because I think that every coach tries to coach out a little bit of grabbing this and hand fighting, stuff like that. But there are players that tend to have it. And when you willingly bring them to your team, you're asking for more penalties.
Yeah, I agree. Alan, thank you for the question, buddy, and for staying up so late or early or whatever it is in Australia. I'm not sure. Will Leo see more time with the first team defense? He can only see more time because he didn't get any last time. And I hope that he does. His run fits and his downhill progression, much like Nick Bolton last year in pass coverage, where he's at a spot and he's playing forward, was great. I will show you a play tomorrow that accentuates that, and I hope that you guys are ready for it, because it's just when he has to turn backward and run or pedal to a spot that he gives up, and especially on the turns. He just doesn't turn well. He's never been asked to do it.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of potential there. It's going to take some coaching is all. It's like me playing basketball. I understand the concept. I just can't execute. Chiefs comments. What player who played poorly or underwhelmed in the first game is being unfairly maligned? Great question.
That's a really good question. And this isn't just because he's my guy. I think that everything gets magnified in these situations. And yeah, Powell had a bad drop. It was awful. It was a real bad drop. But I think that everyone just kind of forgets that he did catch his other two targets. I know they didn't go for much, but look at where he was playing with the rest of the game. I think he's being kind of headhunted for dropping a ball when other people, Derek Gore, 2 drops, fumble, no one mentions it. Like it's just because I just feel like I believe that Dory's Fountain is going to make the roster over Cornell Powell, and that's how it is. That's fine. I'm still rooting for Cornell. I want him to make the roster, but he probably won't. But you have a drop, and again, these situations, they get magnified, and I think that everyone's kind of just honing in on it because. Yeah, I've talked him up a bit, and I think that he's done a good job of improving. But you have a drop; it doesn't mean you suck.
Yeah, it happens. Adam, does Chanel have a chance of path to becoming a starter, or is he trending towards a situational player? For 2022, he'll be a situational player unless there's an injury run. I was glad to see that they played him at Sam, and then they did give him some mic reps with the green dot. That was important as well. I could see him eventually being Nick's backup as well, so I like that concept. I want this team to run. On paper, the line is dominant. I'm with you. I am so with you. I think Pacheco has the ability. He has better breakaway speed than Kareem does. As long as he can make those first couple catches and get on a roll and get that confidence in real games, I think he's going to make people forget about Kareem Hunt. Pacheco looked good as a pass catcher. Thank you, Spencer. Question, even despite the draft position, is CH better at that than Pacheco?
Oh, man. See, this is exactly the kind of thing that hype really stirs up. And I have no issues with you guys hyping up Pacheco. He looks really, really, really good. most everyone forgets that Clyde's best attribute coming out of college is being a pass catcher and a route runner. He still is an exceptional pass catcher and route runner, and he's a better runner between the tackles. He has better vision. He has better short area quickness to make guys miss. Now Pacheco just runs guys over, which is a little bit different, but he has better contact balance than Clyde does. That's true,
and he showed that.
Yeah, he does. That's without a question. I think Clyde's been better than advertised. The couple plays last year when he was getting healthy, the one against the Steelers just sticks in my mind where he just gets leveled, but it doesn't go down and runs for a touchdown. But I do think Clyde's a better all-around back as of now. Pacheco still has that ability to get better at his vision. That's going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think they're different runners. But I think right now it is a 1-2 punch, and all I care about is the strength of the committee, to tell you the truth.
That's how they are.
Especially if they're going to let Mike line up and have some guys run off of him, that's what I'm looking for. Devontae, which player is most likely traded on the defensive line? I don't think they're trading anybody out of the defensive line. They might be making an acquisition. Travis, love your show. Thank you, Travis. Please let me know. We'll pick up another tackle. They may. I would be watching cutdowns for another tackle acquisition.
I don't think it's going to happen.
If you let a good tackle go, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't be good tackles available, but you never know. What are the odds that Mahomes is having a 50 TD and 5,000 yard season? I'd say 50-50 at the worst.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Okay, I'll take it. Look at that. We agreed. Hey, that's good. Which player is the most to gain and lose based on the next couple of weeks of camp? The guy that has the most to lose is probably Josh Gordon or maybe Devin Key. Guys that have the most to gain: Watson, Mike Rose, maybe Leo. If he can push.
I don't think Watson had. Which Watson? Are you talking about Justin or Jalen?
Jalen.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, Leo has some room to gain. If he can show a little bit more versatility, he might be able to jump in front of Carter. I don't know that he's going to overtake Lee because of Lee's experience in a better performance than Carter, but he's got a chance.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that Powell has a lot to gain, but he's got a lot of ground to cover, so he's got a long way to go. You have to really figure Rojo has to have a huge rest of the camp to make the roster at this point. I think that Jaron Christian also has quite a bit to gain. I think he looked pretty good actually as the left tackle in place of as a second team tackle guy. I think he looked pretty good. So he has a lot to gain in terms of being that swing tackle lockdown for them.
You are super sweet compared to me. I was not impressed.
I really like that.
Okay. Hey, I hope we see that again then, because maybe I just need to go watch it again. Teak, Jaden, MVS. Yeah, there's a possibility. I think people were, because Juju came on so strong once camp started, I think they forgot that MVS is still a guy that can make himself available to the quarterback. And that's what this game is about, particularly with Patrick.
That adjustment catch was nice.
Yeah, right. And I know he's had drops in the past. He'll probably still have them. Mm-hmm. But I will say that the upside will be more. I still think he can lead this team in yardage, but I do think Juju leads the team in touchdowns, to tell you the truth. Which player do you answered that one? Got Jaden that one. Don't forget how good was as a gunner. That's absolutely why he's going to be there. Ultimately, Clyde has to miss his signature 2 to 4 games due to injury. Would Pacheco have permanently take the RB1 spot? No, Andy's not going to give away anybody's starting job due to injury. It's like his policy for the last 20 years. But it'll definitely earn him more touch share. That's for sure.
I mean, if he misses more than that, and Pacheco just doesn't have any game lower than 90 yards, then there's a good chance that this would be like a Kareem Hunt, Spencer Ware situation where, look, just go for it. You've just been producing. So they would go a hot hand approach, in my opinion, in that situation.
Yeah, I'm with you. Great pod. Thanks, Micah. Could we see at RGR KCSN Pride and Addict season preview special collab? It's possible. Matt Connor's we've been talking about getting him on for a while. You guys have seen Matty Lane and Kent and Craig on with me and Dan around the draft. We always have a little bit of crossover. Matt V and I worked together a long time ago. We could probably put that up. We could even reach out to Pete. Let's see what we can get done. I'm happy to have anybody on who knows this team and knows this particular fan base. It's great, and we need to celebrate it. Is Rojo trade bait? Unfortunately, Daryl, ain't nobody giving nothing up for Rojo.
four rushes for a yard and a sack given up. I mean, are you trading for that?
Not happening. Cold Ape, we got yours before. I'm sorry. Brian Cook is a gazelle. He's so fun. We'll be gushing about him all season. I done told you. I called him the X Factor for a reason. He's just getting started. And if you notice, if you go back and watch the game, yes, he played up near the box early. Late with the threes, he was playing deep. Playing in that too high. He, Juan, and Reed. By the way, do you guys think that I'll hold, but can Dan and I outkick Thornhill and Reed? I think we can.
You think we can outdo that?
Because your plant leg's good, right?
My plant leg would be my left leg, which is the bum knee.
Oh, okay. Damn, I had that reversed. Never mind. Can you kick lefty? That's my next question.
I mean, we're almost at the point where I can plant, but I don't think I've been able to kick longer than 30 yards since I was in high school.
Okay, I'll do the kicking then. Fine. But I think we can give them a run for their money. If two safeties can do it, I know we can. The big point is that Brian Cook is the third safety. It's not a question. And when they get completely interchangeable, when he gets 5, 6, 8 games under his belt, him, Reed, and Thornhill, you're going to be able to move those guys all around and create havoc and confusion, and it's going to be good for this defense. Oh, I'm excited about that. I know you guys couldn't tell. How do you think the rookie CBs did after getting some film? Jay Williams had 50% defensive depth. Yeah, I mean, we were pretty happy with all of them. My post game, I was talking about all three, but Dan, did anything to elaborate on that?
No, I think that they showed why DeAndre Baker and Lonnie Johnson were cut. They've been improving. I think being able to get 4th round pick and Joshua Williams, I think even Najee Johnson, 2 7th round picks in these guys, they're going to play at least backup corner for him. It tells you that you're hitting on these picks, and I can't commend the job that Brett Veach has done in the last 2 drafts and getting these guys that they just find ways to fit them into this defense. And honestly, I think that Jalen Watson has a higher upside than I think most people ever thought. Like, he's a versatile corner, can play man and zone, and he looked comfortable. He didn't look so comfortable coming downhill. He looked a little iffy, trying too hard. I personally was trying too hard to make a play. And Ebner was like, "Yeah, you're like 5 yards away from me. I'm just going to cut up the middle." But it happens. But in coverage, he was good.
In the Palouse, you don't get to see those kind of backs that much. You know, I watch a lot of Jalen film out there, and I'm really happy to see him. And I agree with you. I think he's not only got potential to make the roster, but somebody who can be in town for a while. Jaden, I hope you're right that Willie Gay can become the new Derek Johnson and be a top linebacker in the league. He's got to prove it, though. He's got all the potential in the world. He's just got to put it together and stay healthy. That's going to be a big thing. Which is more likely, Thornhill going all pro or Willie getting 5+ interceptions, or both? I'd put it at even money.
Oh, more likely, I think it's Willie getting 5 picks.
Oh, okay. Cool. I like it. Teak, thank you for your support, buddy. Is our first string D actually as good as they looked versus the Bears? No. The Bears are
they're so bad. I want to buy so much into every hype of every player that played well, but we have to remember the Bears are one of the bottom 5 teams in the entire NFL. Their offensive line is garbage. It's not good. Just try to take what you can. Just take a little bit here. So George used his hands really well. He used them really well. Like that's really good. And he cornered really well. So but
these guys are really going to help. That is probably what will allow them to raise up. But the Bears just couldn't give you enough. Outside of Mooney, they couldn't give you enough to even really think that it was a solid test for the ones. I've seen a lot of people say that Isaiah will be the RB1 at some point this season. What do you think? Yeah, when Clyde misses his couple of games, he will definitely be the guy who starts those games, but he's not going to overtake the first-round draft pick.
Don't wish it upon Clyde, guys.
Exactly.
I want him to
don't
have
fate.
A good, healthy season and just show everybody wrong. I really do.
Devontae, to get 13 to 17 million per year for Juan Thornhill, he's got to actually hit that all-pro, or he's got to give me 5 picks this year. He's got to come through on his potential.
I think he has to have 2 years of being an all-pro to get to that much money. Right now, you're talking about a guy who hasn't been himself in 2 years. He doesn't even get half. He gets like half that right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll find out. Are we keeping 3 or 4 true running backs? I don't see the upside for Gore or Rojo. I agree. I would put Gore on the practice squad, but I think 3 and Mike is enough, and I'd rather see the 4 tight ends. We'll see if Blake is healthy. I thought Bushman would show more. He had a couple of decent plays, but not enough. So I need to see more out of him to feel comfortable keeping him, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I think that three running backs and Mike Burton is what you're going to be seeing come week 1.
Yeah, I hope so. Jack, thank you. First super chat. Well, thank you, Jack Lynch. We appreciate you very much. Big shout out and thank you for the support. CH or Pacheco closer to 1,000 yards combined offense. CH will break that.
I think you will too. I think it's going to be closer to 15.
I would love to see Pacheco get close to it, though. If he could get 800 plus and you have a 1-2 punch like that, you're dangerous. You're dangerous the way you haven't been dangerous in a long time.
If he gets close to that, Clyde's not going to get it. Like, that's what I think. But it'd be nice to see them both getting up to like 800 plus yards. That would be nice.
I'm with you. Bradley, thank you. What did you see from the rookies that you didn't like? Kennard's feet. I was disappointed in both Mike Rose and Jack Cochran playing backwards. Those guys are both good at coverage. I think maybe it was first game jitters or something, but they didn't show what I thought they were going to show.
I'm upset that I didn't see much Trent McDuffie. Like, I didn't see much of it. Like, he was in and out. Like, he was the punt returner, and then they were like, "Yeah, you're done. We know what you are."
You've had enough of a day there, Trent.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I don't think the rookies played all that poorly. Otherwise, I think that UDFAs were. I mean, they're UDFAs. No offense. Like, I didn't expect them to play lights out, and I think all the rookies that got like positive playing time, I think they all showed why they got drafted, and I think they have upside. So I can't really say I didn't like much.
We're not talking about this guy enough.
No, I know. We haven't even talked about Sky Moore like at all.
I know.
A little bit off top, and then it was over. But
Patty McMurray, thank you for the support. We appreciate you. Yeah, I have puppers for me. Is this season a make or break year for CH? Absolutely. If he does not perform, not only do they have a viable backup or two, it's a contract situation where running backs are not going to get what they need. Sean Dixon, thank you for the support as well. Not as good a name as Patty McMurray, but that's okay. I can tie you into something. What does Josh Lengthfordays Williams need to work on to be a lockdown corner of the future? Snead, McDuffie, Williams, ideally for 2 or 3 years. Yeah, that's the evolution that I see. One is he's just got to get better recognition. I think the big catch that he gave up, that was a great catch and a perfect throw.
Yeah,
he was still in position to put that away had he played through the full. He knew he had the coverage locked down. I think he let up a little bit, or I think he would have gotten a PBU there.
For me, it's all his change direction. Like, a lot of it has to do with playing that Charvarius Ward type role. I think he's the better athlete than Ward ever was. So he has some of that hip movement to him. It's still a little stiff, so he needs to be able to play off, but be able to turn, predict what the receiver is going to do. Playing in phase is going to help him because he already gets his head around better than Charvarius Ward did. He can play in phase and stay with that receiver and kind of anticipate a little bit more. He's going to make plays.
I'm with you. Everybody say hi to Cole. He's in the house. Cole. Next question, Nazi. Did he play? Yes, he did. I thought he looked pretty good, except when matched up against who was that bigger guy? Can't remember the Bears player, but I thought overpowered him a little bit. He's just got to play, I think, with a little bit more urgency when he's up against somebody with a lot of size advantage. Did you see something else, Dan?
Not really. I couldn't see enough of him because I don't have all 22 to really get a real assessment of his game. But I do think you're not wrong in the assessment that bigger receivers might have some leverage on Nazi early. I don't think he's as physical as Josh Williams or Jalen Watson for that matter. And maybe that's just something he'll get later down the road. Work with Fenton a little bit. He'll teach you something.
I like that. Chief's comments. Do you think Juan didn't get called for that because Field stayed up? Dan can talk to that. Juan should have known better. There's no reason to do that in a preseason game.
Yeah, he shouldn't have even been diving at a quarterback who's going to slide. You know he's going to slide. Quarterbacks nowadays have to. I think the reason the flag didn't get thrown is because there was a slight hesitation in Justin Field. Like, if you watch the play, he hesitates slightly. Doesn't mean there shouldn't have been a flag thrown. There still should have been, period.
Yeah. Lee, what's your go-to meal at Jack Stack?
Woo! All right. Well, unfortunately, Ryan can't really, talk to it recently. But
Recently, it's been a year, but dang.
But my usual go-to is I get the pick 3 and I get smoked turkey. It's the most slept on meat portion you can get there. I get either beef or pork burn ends, and I get sausage rounds. Like that's my go-to with the beans and the corn. Solid all the way around.
See, I go chicken, burn ends, and ribs. That's my thing.
If I get ribs, I'm getting a whole meal of ribs. Like I'm just going to get ribs.
Well, see, I like a little bit of everything. I only get to go home for a couple weeks a year, you know?
That makes sense. So that makes sense for you.
Right? Yeah, it works. Well, Danny Shelton, and this from Julian. Welcome back, Julian. Will have a possible impact on the interior defensive line throughout the season. I think so. It's just limit his reps so you don't lose him because he's been hurt a lot.
Correct. He makes the roster, limit his reps, get him in there rotating with Derek Nottie every once in a while, and really just when he's in there, tell the linebackers, just run around him. Go take the gaps right next to him and just fly into the backfield.
Hey, everybody say hi to Big Chief Sean. You're going to see more from him this season, and go subscribe to his channel, Big Chief Sean. If you do that and search football, you will find him immediately. And folks, I am going to skip through some of your questions because we've covered the topic already. Don't take it personally. It's just the order in which they came in. I'm going to try to keep everybody here because we are running out of time fast. Thank you for the content. Don't make it live very much. We'll geek on a Harley. Welcome. I'm glad you made it this time.
Appreciate you.
Yes, very much. As Kyle Peterson, thank you. Sorry if it's a repeat. If Pacheco lives up to everyone's wildest dreams to CH, get let go or not paid. Not paid. They will not cut him for any reason whatsoever. They just won't bring him back.
Yeah.
If you got a viable option that's 10 times cheaper, do it.
Yeah.
Spags gave Leo the green dot late in the game. Led the team in total tackles. Leo will be fine. Absolutely, Alan. That's going to be a big deal. Why is Chad Henne on this team? Because the other quarterbacks can't throw and hit the side of a barn. That's why. My Lord.
Bushell's fine.
No, he's not. Crumb's
Bushell's
better.
fine. No, he's no. What game did you watch?
Oh, yeah.
Which one did you watch? Bushell threw the only touchdown. Crumb looked like he was.
I know.
He had
twos in there blocking for him. Crumb was under attack from like the half-second mark every snap.
I understand that, but he still couldn't throw the. He has no arm strength. There's no arm strength there. No. I mean, Bushell doesn't have much, but he's still fitting in between two safeties.
I'm not taking the field with either of those guys. That's what I'm saying. Put Chad Henne in bubble wrap right now. No practice, no nothing. Because if he gets hurt and Patrick stubs his toe one day and has to miss a series, it's over.
Chad Henne will give his life for this team, and he's proven against them in the playoffs. That's why Chad Henne is still. He almost did it again. He flashed back to Cleveland when he had that open field in front of him against the Bears. He was thinking about running for a first down.
I know. Oh, keep thinking about it. Is Andy playing it close to the vest? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That's what vanilla preseason is. Ely was balling up today. I hope so. Can he get some carries in Saturday's game? I hope so. Like I feel like Ely's the guy that's kind of like, hey, nobody look over there at 29. He's going to be fine. He's going to make it to our practice squad.
Yeah, that's exactly how this feels because he's an electric player. And I think right now they're like, we don't really have room for you. But next year, you're going to get that Dexter McCluster, D'Anthony Thomas role as a running back wide receiver. That's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome because that's where you could do the X's and O's and hurt people. And that's what I'm here for. I just want to see grown men cry. It's fun. Ryan, do you see Andy Reid using a fullback more this year? I dream of it nightly, Gary. I'm just disappointed when I wake up every day. I would love it. I just don't think it's going to happen, man. Or at least I refuse to get my hopes up.
Just keep going back and watching the wheel route from that 2018 game. Just keep watching the wheel route. Just watch it over and over again. Yep. I think that Michael Burton could do that too, by the way.
100 times in his sleep. Chief, behind the back, Big Chief Sean, behind the back pass for a touchdown, yes or no?
Yes.
I'm saying no.
You can mark it down right now. In a game they're up by like 30 points. Mahomes is 100% going to do it.
When are they ever up 30 points? 14 and Andy just goes to sleep.
The Jets. When they played the Jets, they were up 30 points. When they play a bottom of the league team, they're going to find a way to do it.
Burton's nickname is now Bratwurst. I can live with that, and I'm sure Mike would enjoy that as well. Since Anthony was the sausage, I like that. Watch out, use check. Burton is coming for you, the top 100 spot. Tell him, Avery. Tell him I'm here. I'm here for Avery and the fullback love. That's what I'm here for. She's like, who's the creepy guy on the TV, Dad? Why is he waving at me? Thoughts on Deshaun Watson's debut? Great as always. That's what happens when you don't play for a year and a half. And like, you know, I mean,
please.
hey, who knows what's going to happen with him? I really can't even tell you. Prayers for Raiders fans, they're going to need it this season. They seem to think that they are right as rain, so that's going to be really interesting. I can't wait for that. Okay, we covered that one. We covered that one. Miss Avery has something to say. Yes? Yes.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Oh, that's so awesome. That is awesome. Remind me, I will share you a clip of my daughter the day Patrick Mahomes got his first start. She was about your age. Let's see. Quarter's looking real good. How similar to the old Sean Smith, Marcus Peters combo do we have with Williams and McDuffie? It's not quite the same because McDuffie like doesn't have the instincts to jump routes and bait people like Marcus did. But he is actually, if you compare their athletic matrix, they are nearly identical. Like he actually is a tick more athletic than Marcus was.
Yeah, I think it's going to look different because in this one, it's a different defense, and they really gave Marcus Peters a lot of freedom to jump those routes. You don't have that freedom in this defense. Steve Spagnuolo does not want you doing that. He wants his safeties doing that.
Yeah. John, if the Chiefs got a black uniform, we might be able to get Seth out of it, but you know, it's slimming and he likes it. I can't blame him. This is going to be a fire season, Sean. I am totally with you. Folks, don't forget to check out Sean's channel and get subbed over there. Pacheco will get the first 40-yard plus run of the season. Could be because Clyde got a track record of hitting big chunk plays like that. So, if you can get him, like, I'm just saying, Andy, if you're going to run Wildcat with McCole, you might as well put Pacheco in there and let him pitch it because I don't want him throwing the ball ever. But
no,
hey,
never.
Bruce, thank you for the support. Thanks, buddy. What's your bold prediction for the year?
I haven't actually thought about this yet, but let's see. Bold prediction for the year. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Chris Jones leads the league in sacks.
I'm so here for that. Wow. Bold prediction. Chiefs double their rushing touchdowns this season. I don't know who it's going to be, but as a team,
love it. I love it.
Double it.
I love
Thanks,
it.
Bruce. Appreciate you. Will Kennard make the team after a lackluster performance? Yes. A 5th-round pick. I don't think they're going to give up on him unless they have a really good reason to it. I didn't see it yet.
Agreed.
Okay. Ryan needs to use Dan's internet connection. Yeah, mine. It's super stormy here. There's like lightning bolts going off and stuff. So I did get satellite internet. That's why it's been better for the last 4 months or so. But weather affects it a lot. What would you do about the right tackle position? Hire someone. No, I mean,
it's Andrew Elliott's job. Like, that's what it is.
I mean, would I trade a 7th-round pick for Tevin Jenkins and try to see if you can develop it into a swing or a guy that could take over, right?
I mean, are you going to be able to get a 7th-round pick?
No.
Honestly,
if it gets any more bitter, though, they could just cut him. It's to the point where the media thing is starting to get to the point where I think that they're just at an impasse. It's not going to get fixed. Kind of like that. RJ, you're back. Welcome, buddy. Nice to see you. Who's got a better chance of making the roster, Powell or preseason Darius Fountain? We think Fountain's in there. Powell's not out of the running yet, though. That's what these last 2 games are going to be about. And it might come down to the last one. Who can get something done.
Pay attention to who's running. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, RJ, we need to reconnect. Pay attention to who's running.
Pay attention to who's running on special teams the next game.
Yeah.
If
absolutely.
Powell's running special teams and Fountain isn't, something's going on. Something's going on.
I'm with you. Let's see. Got that one. Jeremy, thank you for that. Folks, if you would hit the like for us, we'd appreciate that. If you're not subbed yet, grab that right now as well. That will make it easier. What rookie do you think is going to have the biggest impact on the season? So that could be a defender as well.
I think it'll be Trent McDuffie. I've said it from the beginning. I think it'll be Trent McDuffie.
I'm going to be stubborn too. I'm going to say that it's going to be Brian Cook making those X factor plays. I just think he's going to make it.
I get it. I just don't think he's going to play enough.
He might not start that way, but I think he's going to. I want to see both Chanel and Cook on the field going downhill and smack the crap out of somebody. That would be nasty. I'm totally with you, Doug, and I think you're going to see it. Come the regular season, I think Spags is going to go blitz happy with a couple of these guys just because it's such a higher level of capability. Lomu, if If our picks this year are a success in the field, do you think that they will use some of next year's pick to trade for a top pass rusher or LT if OBJ doesn't sign? Sorry. I think they'll more likely re-franchise him if he doesn't sign. And then you can call it a day. I think he'd be 27 at that point.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see them trade up for a pass rusher if, Will Anderson has a subpar season and falls into the teens. Go get him. I mean, come on.
Breaks his leg. Just go get it.
Right. Yeah. Like I can fix that. That's not a problem. Tatum, hope you're doing well. I didn't get to watch the game, but how did our Ds and wide receivers do? Starters looked pretty competent. Depth at DE is still a question.
Yep.
I think wide receivers still, we got to think even after the first game, wide receivers is one of the deepest positions on the roster, right?
Yep. They look good. Like not just competent, but they look like, I think Justin Watson is going to be involved. Like not just be the 5, be involved in the offense.
I'm really encouraged by that. Now, a lot of Tampa Bay fans have told me that he's done exactly this in the past.
Yeah, I'm sure he has.
Which, by the way, this year's Tampa Bay guy to watch, you guys heard me cry about him all draft season. Jarrett Stearns, touchdown, 12 yards a reception, looking smooth. He's Mighty Mouse. He's going to make that team.
He won't make the roster.
He will, or he'll make this one. Sorry, I didn't actually read Doug's question. Doug was saying, Leo over under 4 tackles for loss. If you mean the season, I'm taking the over.
Yeah, over on that one.
Absolutely. Travis, thank you for the support. Appreciate you, bud.
Appreciate you, Travis.
Cole, don't be scared. We're not that dangerous.
I mean, I don't know.
I haven't kicked the ball in a long time. I got the gut. So how's that? Did you see where they were calling the 5 rookies the Fab 5? I did not see that, but hey, if it works, it works. I heard we got 5 sacks on D. Who got them? I don't even remember. George got 1. Herring got 1.
Chris Jones got 1.
Greer from the blitz package.
Yeah.
And someone who's escaping my mind.
I can't remember.
I'll have to go. Maddening. We'll get Cole on here at some point. We just got to figure it out timing wise. And let's see. Would you trade Niang and Kennard for Tevin Jenkins?
Yes.
No. Both? You're going to give up 2 assets for 1? No.
I think Tevin Jenkins is better than both of them. I think he's better than both. So I would 100% do it. Did
you think he showed it the other day?
I don't think he played yesterday or on Saturday.
Yeah, he got in the game.
I didn't even see him play.
Yeah, that's my problem too. Oof. Did you see Carl Nasser signed with Tampa?
Nasser, yeah.
I did not do that. But good for Carl. My favorite thing about Carl is that he hates Todd Haley more than me. Do you guys remember that? No one remembers that? Really? Go back and watch the Browns Hard Knocks. It's awesome. It's awesome. Okay. I think we are caught up. All the super chats are done. Parting thoughts, Dan. Good start out. Like, where do they go from here?
I think this is just going to be people are going to finally realize maybe next week on Saturday, this weekend on Saturday, that this offense is not going to take a step back. Like, I think people are like, okay, it was fine. They're going to get now two quarters of Patrick Mahomes just chunking his way down the field with not much else to say, going into 5, 6, 7 different receivers. And people are going to be like, oh, what do we do? Like, what are we supposed to do? And that's what's next. We're going to see these young guys get on the field for defense, just being fast. Like I tweeted it. This defense is the biggest thing you're going to notice about this defense is maybe they're not the best. They will fly all over this field from every level.
I agree. And unlike the offense, I do feel the defense is deep enough with all the rookies that their speed at the second tier as well. So like they can afford a few more injuries. The offensive line, I think, is thin right now. I'm happy with Allegretti coming in. Beyond that, I'm a little iffy on a lot of the backups. So I need to see more from them, and then I'll feel a little bit better.
I get it.
We will get to it, you guys. And thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your support tonight. For those of you asking about Boodle, I know I talked about it earlier, but I will say he's still in the mix as well. They could keep 6 corners, and that would help him, I think, quite a bit. So we'll see. I will have something on Chanel for you guys tomorrow. Dan will be back on Wednesday. We have Chief in the North on Thursday. That is going to be Seth's first new kind of format where he goes back to, if you guys are familiar with the Classic, he's going to do that on Thursday. And we're going to get into this rut because the regular season's coming. So be ready. we got some new stuff coming for you too. New shows, a little bit different in terms of gear, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to break it down for you just like always. So thank you for your time. Dan, thank you for sharing your daughter with us for a minute.
Of course.
Always fun when she's here. So, hey, everybody have a great night. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you then.